Hey y'all, it's Tracy at Just Dig It Farms. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make kefir, or how I make kefir, and tell you a little bit about the difference between kefir and kombucha. So when you first get your kefir, I order mine from Cultures from Health, and it'll come in a box like this. I hope you can see that natural light's kind of making a blur coming in the windows. But it's culturesforhealth.com, and that's where I go to get my bottles, my grains, kefir grains, my kombucha scobies. You can get all kinds of fermentation products, like things to make kimchi, sauerkraut, all kinds of cool things. So that's where I go. That's my go-to. And they have some really great like how-to videos. That's going to be much better than my how-to video. I'm just going to show you how I do it today. But when you order it, it'll come in a box like this, and it'll give you detailed instructions of what to do. And if you order the kit, you'll get everything you need in that kit, like your sugar, your cheesecloth, everything you need will be in the kit. If you just order the grains, then that's all you'll get is the dehydrated grains, and you'll need to have your sugar and your cheesecloth and the things that you need to make it yourself. But I mean, it's probably stuff you already have in your kitchen. So I'm going to show you what to do. First, let me tell you the difference between kefir and kombucha. So kombucha is made from a SCOBY, which is kind of gross looking, I know, but this is a SCOBY. So this is also kind of like what's in apple cider vinegar. The mother that's in apple cider vinegar is a type SCOBY. So this is a SCOBY, which stands for symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria. And that's good yeast and good bacteria that our gut needs. Like a probiotic. So the kombucha has like a tart vinegary type flavor, and a lot of people don't like it too much, but I like it. I like the taste of it, and you can flavor it with different fruits or juices and make it even better. But kombucha is so good for your gut. It restores good bacteria and yeast into your gut, the good stuff. So when you've been on an antibiotic for a long time, or you've been sick for a long time, or whatever, it's really good to put that good bacteria and that good stuff back into your gut flora. So that's why a lot of people take probiotics, and that's what this is. It's a probiotic that you drink. So kombucha is probably the better choice. But kefir is the best tasting. And if you can't get past the taste of the vinegary taste of the kombucha, then definitely drink the kefir, because it's still really, really good for you and puts that good bacteria and yeast into your gut. I gave up Diet Cokes and sodas, all sodas, on February the 11th this year. Today is June the 1st. So I am February, March, April, May, June. I am 4 months clean of soda. And I was like a big Diet Coke addict. I mean, like really big. And it's so bad for you. It's so super bad for you. So I gave it up. And this kefir is like a carbonated drink. So it's kind of replaced that carbonation that I loved and craved. And not only does it taste good, but it's putting something good back into my body. It's restored my gut. And I really truly believe that, like, most of our issues, allergies, autoimmune disease, even cancer, most of our issues, it stems from our gut and what's taking place in our gut. So if we can get our gut and our pH in our body, just like the pH in your soil, if you can get it right and healthy, I think it will ward off diseases and will just keep you healthier. So like the pH in our body is just like the pH in the soil. If the pH in our body is right, and neutral, then it can absorb the nutrients and the minerals and all the good things that we're putting into our body. If the pH in our body is not right, if it's too alkaline or too acidic, then our body can't take up those nutrients that we're putting in there, even though we may be taking vitamins or supplements or herbs or eating right or whatever. If the pH in our body is not right, then our body can't take up and absorb those nutrients that we need. And I really think that that's where a lot of our diseases and sicknesses come from. I am definitely no doctor at all, but you know, I've just done self-research trying to figure out how to get myself healthier and heal myself. And that is one thing that I've really found, and I've found true. It's one thing I've been putting into place to try to turn my allergies and stuff around, and just really working. So anyway, let's get to how to make this kefir. So kombucha is a SCOBY. It's different, more of a vinegary taste. It's a symbiotic culture of yeast and bacteria. Now kefir is, I'll show another video later on how to make kombucha, but kefir is grains. You can kind of see the grains in here. That kefir is grains, and it's the same thing. It's a culture of good yeast and bacteria, but it's in grains. So when you order your grains, you're gonna get these dehydrated little granular things, and you're gonna have to go through the activation process first. So the activation process is you just make up this sugar water mix like I'm gonna show you right now. Just like you do when you're making it regularly to drink, you make up your sugar water mix, you put your grains in there, and then you've got to let it sit for like 4 to 5 days, I think is what it says, 4 to 5 days. And then it's ready, and you take and you strain that off, and you get your grains, you make up another, you don't drink that water. That water's going to be way too sweet. But you pour that water out, that sugar water that you fermented sugar water that you've made, you pour that out, and then you make another sugar water substance and put your grains in there and let it sit and ferment for like a day or 2 days. And then you pour that off, and that water is what you're going to use to make your kefir, or that is your kefir actually. So that's kind of the process. So in the very beginning, when you get your grains, you've got to activate it, and it's going to take like 4 days. And then you've got to make another one, and it's going to take 2 days. So you got about 6 days before you're able to start drinking your kefir. Kombucha is a lot longer process. So let me show you what we do here. So what you'll need is glass measure cups. You don't really want to use metal or plastic. You want to use glass. You can use a wooden spoon, and let's see what else. You want to use a glass jar. You don't really want to use the lids. You want to use cheesecloth to go over your jar. So you'll need cheesecloth, and you'll need these bottles. And I think you pronounce them as Koch bottles. I think that's right. I don't know. I'm probably killing it, but I think that's right. And what that does is that just seals it for carbonation. And let me tell you about these bottles. You can find some at like Hobby Lobby, TJ Maxx, and that's normally where I've bought them from. But I think that the seal on them is starting to wear out, and it's probably because I've been throwing them in the dishwasher, which just don't do that. Just hand wash them. I think that's messing the seal up because my kefir lately has not been carbonating good. So I ordered these new bottles off of the Cultures for Health, and they're not expensive really. So I ordered these and made up a new batch, and it's carbonated really good. So I think it's all about the seal and all about the tightness. Like, this is really tight. So you'll need these kind of bottles, and you'll need sugar. And what you want to use is like organic white cane sugar. You don't want to use a maple sugar or a brown sugar. You just want to use like an organic white cane sugar. That's what I use. And you'll need water, and you want to use like spring water. You don't want to use tap water. You don't want to use water with fluoride or anything like that in it. Just get you some good spring water and use it. So here's what you do. This is some that I've already had going, so it's already been activated and it's ready to use. So you just take a strainer. You don't want to use a metal strainer. This is plastic actually. and you just pour it over into your thing, measure cup, and this is your grains. That's the grains. Ooh, that's the grains right there. So then I just set that to the side, and 1 quart jar, well, what I usually do is I kind of pour this back in here to get the grains off of the side so I can keep all of them, and then I pour it back. Okay, so 1 quart jar, which is 4 cups, is what we're working with here. So you've got about 4 cups in here. I'm gonna add my juice. Let me grab it. You wanna use an organic juice. So I found this at Publix and I like it. This is organic cranberry blueberry. They got all flavors. It's 100% juice and it's organic. So for 1 quart, which is 4 cups, I'm gonna use a 1/2 cup of this juice. So a 1/2 cup. Pour it in here with your sugar water, with your fermented sugar water mixture. Stir it up. And then you pour it over into your bottles. And you might want to get you a funnel. I'll just do it. And then, I mean, you fill your bottle up to like right here. Don't fill it all the way to the top. Just fill it to like right there. And then you seal it up. And you put it over to the side. And you let it sit in this bottle for like 2 days. And it'll begin to carbonate. And then after it carbonates, you want to burp it. And that's what these bottles are about, is burping. So you just take it and do like that and then shut it back. So you're just burping, you're letting that pressure off. Let me give you some advice. Let the pressure off. Make sure you burp it. We have been at the hospital with Jean's mom and we got home late that night. It had been a couple of days since I had burped one of the bottles. The thing exploded all over the kitchen. 1,000,000 pieces of glass, blew up like a bomb all over the kitchen. 1,000,000 pieces of glass stuck in the refrigerator, stuck in the cabinet. It was a disaster. Now don't let this scare you and stop you from doing it. Just make sure that once it's carbonated, make sure that you're burping those bottles every day. And if you want to, you can take it and put it in the refrigerator. Once it gets carbonated, put it in the refrigerator. That stops the carbonation process. So then you won't have to worry about it anymore. It'll still be carbonated. It won't continue the carbonation process. It'll still be carbonated, but you can put it in the refrigerator and it won't continue that carbonation process and you'll be good to go. So just a word of wisdom and advice. Don't do what we did. Okay, so you pour that up and let me show you one that is ready. This is some I had made the other day and now it's ready. And you can see, well, that one's not gonna bubble as much, but it's carbonated and it starts bubbling up and it'll just like start spewing out. So you don't let it do that. You just burp it, let the pressure off, shut the lid, you're good to go. Now, how do you make the sugar water substance? What do you do now? You take some hot water. So what you do now is you want to make up your new sugar water for your new batch. So you get a 1/2 cup of water, spring water, get it hot. I just put mine in the microwave for just a few minutes or seconds. Get it hot. It doesn't have to be boiling. All you're doing is just trying to dissolve the sugar. 1/4 cup of the white organic cane sugar. Pour it in your quart jar. Pour your hot water in there. You can just swirl it around. That gets it to dissolve. And then you're going to pour about anywhere from 2.5 to 3.5 cups. I just go ahead and do the 3.5 cups and that gives me 4 cups. Because this is a 1/2 cup. So you just get your sugar really dissolved, really good. And then you pour your 3.5 cups of water, spring water, in there. And I don't even measure because I know that this quart jar is 4 cups. So I just go ahead and pour it in there and get it to about there. That's about 4 cups. Now you gotta let this sit and get completely cooled off to room temperature. I think they recommend it to be like 68 to 71 degrees, something like that. Get it to room temperature. So I just cover it. What I usually do is I put my kefir grains like here over this measure cup, and I'll just cover the whole thing like this just so we don't have any kind of flies or whatever in it. Just cover it up, let it sit, get it at really cool. You don't want to put your grains in the hot water because it'll mess them up. So just let that cool. And then when it's cool, you're going to take your grains and pour them into your jar. Cover it up. I get a rubber band. This is your cheesecloth. I get a rubber band, put around it, and then you let it sit for a day, 24 to 48 hours. You let it sit. That ferments it. That causes it to ferment with your grains in there. I haven't put mine in there yet because this water's not cool, but it puts it into the fermentation process. So after 24 to 48 hours, you're ready to make up your bottled flavored kombucha that we just made in the beginning. And that's it. It's super easy. Really, really easy. Once you do it 2 or 3 times, you got it. It's easy. Now this is one that's carbonated pretty good. So we're going to pour us up a glass. Gene loves this stuff. See how yummy that looks? Gene loves this stuff. He drinks like one of the big bottles a day. And I don't know the answer to how much can you drink, how much is too much, how much is the right amount. I don't really know the answer to that. We just drink it. Gene drinks over a bottle a day. I drink it 2 or 3 times a day, drink me a glass of it. I don't think you can drink too much. Cheers to a healthy gut. Good stuff.